All right, welcome to this video. And today's video, we are still looking at traits and we are diving deeper into traits. So we are looking at inheritance in traits today. For those of you who are jumping into this video and it is new to you, we've talked about traits in the previous videos, and if you haven't watched, please look at the playlists and go to the channel and look out for the playlist and watch those videos. Now, in a brief, what are traits? We've said that traits, we can think of them like interfaces in other languages like Java and TypeScript. And they let you define shared behavior that multiple types can implement. So on the surface, those are traits. Now, in today's video, I have already created a folder called More Traits, and we will not use cargo this time around. We just create a folder and that's where we're going to put our code. But I've opened my VS Code and it is here. Okay, so I'll need to enlarge this. Okay, for those of you on small devices, I'll create this file. I'll call it main.rust, and maybe I'll make this small. Now, we want to look at inheritance in traits. And if you're coming from languages like C++ or C, you know what inheritance is. It's a level of abstraction that helps us to reuse code and not repeat ourselves in the essence. So we know how we declare traits, and we use the keyword trait. In this example, we want to use a trait of about a car and a vehicle, and we see how we can inherit the two. So if we declare the trait vehicle, okay, and in this trait, we can define the behavior of what the vehicle should be. The obvious one, we can talk about the price of this vehicle. So we define a method, getPrice, and it takes a reference self. And right now we should be knowing what self is. And we expect that this method or this function should return a type of unsigned int64, and it can be anything. You can say U16, anything you want. Yes, so that's what we have. And we actually don't want to implement this. Like we've said in the previous videos, we don't want to implement that, but we've declared a method in the trait. You can implement or you might not. So the trait vehicle has that for now. Now we want to talk about the trait car, and this car, we want it to inherit from vehicle. We use these double dots, how do you call them? Full colons, okay? And we want to inherit from vehicle. And if you're coming from C++, you already know this. This is how you inherit in C++. From a base class to a subclass, you know this. So even here we have a base trait and a sub trait. So we have car and vehicle. So car is inheriting from vehicle, and we are defining still a behavior within the car as a trait. And this time around, we want to talk about the mode of the car itself. And even this we will not implement, but we expect that the model will be a string. Okay, so we have that, and now we want to implement or we want to define a certain car. We want to talk about a certain car that will really bring out all this behavior, which we are calling the trait. And the best way to do that is using a struct. A struct is defining a single entity about the things that represent that entity. So struct, as it is holding data, it is literally a container. A struct as the best way we can think about it. We've defined all these data structures in our previous videos. So if you want to, you can go back and look at them. So we can define a car. We will call that car type a Tesla Model X. We'll say Tesla Roadster, maybe. Okay, what do we know? What do we want to know about this Tesla Roadster? Maybe we need to know the mod of that car, and this will be a string type, and maybe the release date, and the release date is a U, maybe 16 unsigned. We don't need that comma. Okay, so we have two traits, and now the real entity that is, or the real type that is implementing that behavior. Now we want to implement, first of all, the car itself, the Tesla Roadster. And this will be, we'll define a new function new. This new function, we think about it as the method, the implementation constructor. If you're coming from still C++, Java, think about it as a constructor to create that instance of the type. Okay, so this is a model, and the model we are referring it to, we are giving it a type of the string reference. We've looked at the difference between that str and the string. So if you haven't, please go back and watch those videos. So release date, we still take the same type, U16, and we need to think about the return type. So we are returning self, and we've looked at self as an alias or a type alias that represents a a type. So we've defined that, or we've looked at self in the previous videos, and you can still go back and enjoy. But at the surface, self is a type alias for a type that really this instance is referring to or is supposed to return. Okay, we are defining this constructor, and this constructor must create an instance of the type that we want to talk about. So this is self, add model. So we want to to create the Tesla Roadster itself as a vehicle or as a car. And the way we've defined the Tesla Roadster is about the model and the release date. So these are the two things we want to focus on here. So the model, and we said that we want it to be a string type or the str type. So we will use the toString method, and then we bring the release date. So that's the instance of the Tesla Roadster. Those from the struct that we are having, and we are just creating that instance, and that's all. Because it's a car, we also need to implement the trait car, because you've defined the Tesla Roadster, but what about the trait car? So we will use implement car for the Tesla Roadster. Okay, and for this one, we want to define the model function, or we want to implement it. Sorry, because it is already defined there. So we want to implement it and solve, and we're supposed to return a string type. Okay, and this time we are saying Tesla. Am I getting that right? Tesla Roadster, maybe Tesla Roadster T. Okay, and we need to convert it to string. Sorry, and from there we have I think there we need to run and see what we get. But of course we need the main method, function main, and in main, what do we need to do? We need maybe to print out something. So we will define a variable, let my roadster equal to the Tesla Roadster. And how do we access methods within a struct? By using the double colon to access the new method, which is the constructor. And we want to say Tesla Roadster, maybe 3. I don't know whether there is Tesla Roadster 3. And the model is 2024. Okay, now we want to print out something on the screen. Print ln brackets, and we're saying that the Tesla Roadster 3 is priced at, we'll use dollars because some local currencies are overwhelming. So we'll need to access the price and the model itself. So we are saying my Roadster dot, because we want to access this model, but remember we had do we need that? No, we cannot access the want to access the model. Yes, Tesla Roadster dot the model. We want to see what happens here. Okay, so when we run rust c main.rs, okay, yeah, I wanted this to happen. We are seeing that required by this bound in car, but yes, this is the error that I wanted. The trait vehicle is not implemented Tesla Roadster. What does that mean? That yes, we have implemented the trait car, but we haven't implemented the trait vehicle for the Tesla Roadster. Meaning, and you need to note this, that once you inherit a trait for the type, you will have to implement both the super trait and the sub trait. That's very important. So in other words, we need to implement vehicle for Tesla Roadster. Yes, and within the vehicle itself, what do we need to implement? It's the price that has been defined there. I can as well just copy that, bring it here, and yeah, okay, so we come up with the price, and we can say that the price that we are putting here is 200,000. That could be dollars. And yeah, so we've put the money, and now we can see what happens if we have access to price. But we cannot get this here because we want to first look at that and see what the problem will be. Okay, I also don't think this is going to work, but I want to show you guys something. So what we are having semicolons there. You're not supposed to have them. Run again. Okay, yes. So this works. And yes, we have some, because we are not using car, we are not using vehicle, literally. But that's okay. So I wanted to show you that from here, you're still good. But we want to finish the problem by including also the price. So I can access price here using my Roadster dot get price, because I have already defined that function or that method in the vehicle implementation. But I think I also need to put it there as the money. So once I run this, expect to with okay, it does run. For me to see the result, I'll have to run the binary, which is Tesla Roadster 3 is priced at that $200,000. Just note that the underscore here is just to give you some sort of readability, that the code is readable. Once you get a space, once after every 3 digits, you can put that. Okay, so that's all about inheritance of trades. And if you haven't gotten something here, please rewatch the video. And otherwise, I love you guys. Leave a like or a comment and subscribe to the channel. See you in the next video. Bye bye.